Welcome to Living Planet. Have you ever heard of a place in Europe that still feels like a secret? A country where snow-capped mountains meet turquoise seas, where forgotten castles rise above stone-paved towns, and where ancient traditions still echo through every valley. For decades, this land was almost invisible to the outside world, closed off from travelers, shrouded in mystery. Today, however, it is slowly opening its doors, revealing landscapes and stories that rival the most famous destinations on the continent. This is Albania. Tucked away in the Western Balkans, Albania borders Greece to the south, Montenegro to the north, and shares the sparkling Adriatic and Ionian seas to the west. And yet, despite its location in the heart of Europe, it has remained one of the least visited countries on the continent. While millions flock to Italy, Croatia, or Greece, Albania stands quietly on the sidelines, beautiful, enigmatic, and waiting to be discovered. What makes Albania so fascinating is not just its breathtaking scenery, but the way history, culture, and mystery intertwine here. This is a land that has been shaped by empires, the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottomans, all leaving behind traces of their worlds. Its landscape shifts dramatically in the span of a few hours, from the rugged peaks of the Albanian Alps to serene lakes to golden beaches along its Riviera. For much of the 20th century, Albania was locked away under one of the strictest communist regimes the world has ever known. Foreign visitors were almost non-existent, and Albanians themselves were forbidden to leave. This isolation created a country frozen in time, where thousands of concrete bunkers were built across the land, prepared for invasions that never came. When the borders finally opened in the 1990s, the world began to rediscover Albania, but even now, it remains off the beaten path. One of the first things travelers notice is how untouched the landscapes are. The Albanian Alps in the north, often called the Accursed Mountains, are jagged, dramatic, and hauntingly beautiful. Villages here are connected by trails rather than highways, and the hospitality of locals feels like stepping back into a world where strangers are welcomed as family. Further south, the Ionian coast unveils white pebble beaches, crystal clear waters, and hidden coves that rival the Greek islands, yet without the crowds. But Albania is not only about nature, it's about mystery. In the hillside town of Berat, nicknamed the City of 1,000 Windows, Ottoman-era houses cling to steep slopes, creating a view that feels like a living museum. In Gjirokasta, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Stone houses and a massive fortress overlook the valley below, whispering stories of medieval battles and communist resistance. These towns feel like portals into different centuries, layered with history at every turn. Albania is also a land of contrasts. Its capital, Tirana, bursts with colour, energy and modern ambition. Once grey and sombre during the communist years, today its buildings are painted in bright hues of red, green and blue. Cafes spill out onto sidewalks, music drifts through the air and street art covers entire blocks. It is a city reinventing itself, standing as a symbol of a country moving forward, yet never forgetting the weight of its past. Perhaps the most intriguing thing about Albania is the feeling of discovery. In much of Europe, tourism has polished every corner, but here, the sense of raw authenticity remains. Whether you're walking through ruins that rarely make it into guidebooks, swimming in lakes surrounded by legends, or listening to folk songs sung in mountain villages, Albania feels like a place where adventure is still possible, where not everything has been mapped or explained. If there is one thing that defines Albania, it is the sheer diversity of its landscapes. Within a single day of travel, you can stand on the summit of a rugged mountain, hike through green valleys, and swim in the turquoise waters of the Ionian Sea. This geographical variety makes Albania one of Europe's most astonishing natural gems, yet it is still one of its best-kept secrets. Let's begin in the north, where the Albanian Alps rise like stone cathedrals into the sky. Known locally as the Bjeshket e Nemuna, or Accursed Mountains, their name alone evokes mystery and awe. Jagged peaks cut across the horizon, while deep valleys cradle rivers of icy blue. Here life feels unchanged for centuries. Small mountain villages like Theth and Valbona welcome travelers with wooden houses, hearty meals, and stories passed down through generations. The trails between these villages are not just hiking paths, they are ancient routes once used by shepherds and traders. Walking them, you can sense the weight of history beneath your feet. Theth, in particular, is a place that almost feels like a myth. Surrounded by dramatic cliffs, it is famous for its stone tower houses, used in the past for protection during blood feuds, a glimpse into Albania's complex traditions of honor and survival. Nearby, a waterfall tumbles from the mountainside into a pristine pool, inviting weary hikers to pause and take in the raw beauty. Valbona, on the other hand, is a valley that looks painted by hand. Green meadows stretch below towering peaks, while the river winds through the heart of the land, clear enough to see every stone at the bottom. Together, Theth and Valbona form the soul of Albania's alpine wilderness. Traveling southward, the landscape changes, but the magic remains. At the center of the country lies Lake Shkodra, the largest lake in the Balkans, shared with neighboring Montenegro. Its waters shimmer under the sun, home to countless species of birds, making it a paradise for nature lovers. The lake is dotted with tiny islands, some holding ancient monasteries that seem to float on the water. Around its shores, small fishing villages live in harmony with the rhythms of the lake, their wooden boats drifting quietly across the surface. Further east, another wonder awaits, Lake Ohrid. Straddling the border between Albania and North Macedonia, this lake is one of the oldest in the world, estimated to be more than 3 million years old. Its crystal-clear waters hide endemic species found nowhere else on Earth, making it a living time capsule of evolution. The Albanian town of Pogradec sits on its shore, offering breathtaking views and a peaceful atmosphere. Watching the sunset over Lake Ohrid is an experience that stays with you, a reminder of the timelessness of nature. And then there is the crown jewel of Albania's coastline, the Albanian Riviera. Stretching along the Ionian Sea, this coastline rivals the Greek islands and the Amalfi Coast, yet remains far less crowded. Villages like Dermi, Himare, and Ksamil boast beaches with white pebbles and waters so clear that boats seem to float on air. Hidden coves, sea caves, and cliffs create a sense of endless discovery. The Riviera is where Albania's wild spirit meets Mediterranean charm. Ksamil, in particular, is a place that feels like paradise. Just off its coast lie small islands that can be reached by swimming or rowing, each one offering a private escape. The waters here shift in color from emerald to sapphire to turquoise, depending on the light, creating a palette worthy of any artist. Yet despite its beauty, Ksamil remains accessible and affordable, a luxury rarely found elsewhere in Europe. But Albania's natural treasures are not only about mountains and seas. The country is home to numerous national parks, each protecting a different facet of its biodiversity. Logara National Park, perched on a mountain pass overlooking the Riviera, combines alpine forests with panoramic sea views. Walking its trails, you might feel as though you are standing at the edge of two worlds, the high mountains behind you and the endless Ionian Sea ahead. Meanwhile, Butrint National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, blends history and nature in a remarkable way. Ancient ruins lie scattered among wetlands, lakes and forests, where herons and pelicans glide overhead. It is a place where human civilization and wild ecosystems coexist, reminding visitors that Albania's story is as much about survival as it is about beauty. What makes Albania's landscapes so captivating is not just their variety, but their authenticity. Unlike many European destinations polished for tourism, Albania's wilderness feels untouched. Roads wind through mountains where shepherds still guide their flocks, and beaches remain quiet enough to hear the waves without interruption. Here you don't just see nature, you feel it, raw and powerful, as if you are experiencing Europe in its purest form. This combination of alpine peaks, ancient lakes, and sun-drenched shores makes Albania a land of contrasts, but also of harmony. In a single journey, you can witness the drama of snow-covered cliffs and the tranquility of hidden bays. And it is precisely this diversity, this sense of constant surprise, that turns Albania into a treasure waiting to be unveiled. Beyond its landscapes, Albania is a land of fortresses, legends, and traditions that shaped its identity. The Kruja Castle stands proudly above the town of Kruja, known as the stronghold of Skanderbeg, the national hero who led a powerful resistance against the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. Today, its museum preserves his legacy, symbolizing Albanian pride and defiance. North in Shkodër rises the Rozafa Castle, tied to a haunting legend. 3 brothers built its walls, but each night they collapsed until a sacrifice was demanded. Rozafa, the wife of the youngest, agreed to be buried within the foundation, asking only that one breast remain exposed to feed her baby. The fortress endures as both a monument of strength and maternal devotion. Near Fire lies Apollonia, a Greek and Roman city founded in the 6th century BC. Once a hub of trade and philosophy, its ruins, temples, columns, and amphitheatre still echo with the voices of merchants and scholars. Close by stands the Ardenica Monastery, built in the 13th century and famous for its frescoes and manuscripts. It remains a place of spirituality and culture, linking Albanians to centuries of faith and art. Equally important is the Kanun, Albania's traditional code of law. Passed orally for centuries, it governed honor, family, and hospitality. A unique curiosity of Albania is its bunkers, tens of thousands of concrete domes scattered across fields, coasts, and mountains. Built in the 20th century, they were never used for war, but today serve as art studios, cafes, or curiosities, reminding visitors of the nation's resilience and creativity. On the southern coast, Vlora is where Albania declared independence in 1912. The city is both historic and modern. Its main square celebrates freedom while its promenade opens onto the Ionian Sea. Through its castles, codes, and monuments, Albania reveals a story not just of landscapes, but of people who endured through sacrifice, honor, and reinvention. Beyond the well-known cities and landscapes, Albania hides countless places that remain almost untouched by mass tourism. These corners of the country reveal traditions, curiosities, and environments that feel frozen in time. Heading west, the Divjake Karavasta National Park offers a different kind of wonder. This vast lagoon system is home to rare species, including the Dalmatian pelican, one of the largest flying birds in the world. The area is a paradise for birdwatchers and a reminder of Albania's fragile but rich biodiversity. Not far away, the Karavasta Lagoon salt pans show a different side of Albanian life. Salt production has been part of local economies for centuries, and visitors can still see the traditional techniques passed down through generations. Another intriguing site is Durrës Amphitheatre, built during the Roman Empire. Hidden for centuries under houses and streets, it was rediscovered in the 20th century. Today, half buried and half restored, it tells stories of gladiators and ancient spectacles, standing as a symbol of how Albania's past lies beneath its present. Lastly, Albania also surprises with its underground wonders. The Columbus Cave, not far from the capital, holds traces of human habitation from prehistoric times, including tools and animal remains. Locals call it the Black Cave, and exploring it feels like stepping into a time capsule of early humanity. Albania is more than just a country on the map. It is a place where mountains touch the sky, rivers carve secret paths, and traditions whisper stories from centuries past. From its hidden caves and remote valleys to its vibrant cities and rare customs, Albania remains one of Europe's last great mysteries waiting to be unveiled. Perhaps that's what makes it so captivating, the balance between old and new, between untouched wilderness and living history. Here, every corner hides a surprise, every road leads to a forgotten story, and every view reminds us how much beauty still lies unseen in our world. If you enjoyed this journey through Albania, its secrets, its landscapes, and its untold stories, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Together, we'll continue unveiling the wonders of our planet.